If you look at Dogecoin here on the right, you'll see that shorts actually backed out of some of their positions again today. Normally, especially something like hinting at, oh my God, we're getting another indicator that we're going into a recession or that we're already in one. Normally, it would have been shorts off to the races, but not anymore. Welcome back, YouTube. So today we're going to talk about the yield curve and what this means overall for the market and for what this means for crypto. You'll see that the yield curve has pretty much inverted again, and you'll see like a lot of the news talking about it. But the fact of the matter is, this is the third time this year that this has happened. And typically, the yield curve is kind of like a warning. It's kind of like a foreshadowing what's to come, because over the last 100 years or so, technically, well, I say over the last 13 recessions, a yield curve has been able to predict 11 of them. So normally, when we start seeing this type of behavior, this is concrete or pretty a significant amount of evidence that we're about to go into a recession or we're already in one. So this is kind of why this has been like a hot topic for today and what's going to happen from here. Because our biggest indicator is obviously going to be on the 13th when we hear from the feds as far as for the CPI numbers, and they're going to measure our month over month inflation. And we're going to see what those rate hikes have been doing, or if they've had minimal to no effect at all. And this is kind of where things are going to get tricky at, because if it makes it out that it has not been effective, or if it needs to be more aggressive, then obviously this can shock the market yet again, and we can see a further downtick. But typically before that happens, you'll start seeing things like this, so that it can already kind of try and do their best to kind of price in some of that shock or that fear, so that it's not, just on the 13th specifically, the entire time he's talking, the markets are just falling. So typically, they'll look at the numbers ahead of time, and you'll see them start having these conversations. Obviously, that's something we can listen for over the next couple of weeks. But typically, if they become very talkative, talking about the price points and stuff like that, then you'll know that that CPI report is not good, and they're trying to kind of price it in. The good news I'm going to start with is when it comes down to crypto, the bulk of the correction, the consolidation has already happened. Bitcoin still has some room to consolidate further. I believe the number is around like 10,000. I have to get my notes out to give you the exact number, but Bitcoin can consolidate further. And if you're investing in something like Dogecoin, I do believe we are pretty solid at that 5 cent, 6 cent floor for now, unless something just terrible happens or this kind of gets dragged out. So I do believe for an asset like Dogecoin, these are terrific entries, but I do believe we have some room here, possibly even around the $14,000 range with Bitcoin, if this continues to drag out. And speaking of dragging out, the big question is, how long does the bear market typically last? When can we expect the next bull run and stuff like that? Historically speaking, Bitcoin, typically its consolidation or its actual bottom is normally around like 11 to 14 months after its previous high. So that will put us somewhere around like October. And then if we want to take it a step further and look at a consolidation of the bear markets in general, obviously with the stock market, because crypto hasn't been around that long, the average bear market is around 1.6 years. And this will kind of give us like that range here, that as we come up on like that 1 year mark from our previous highs, this will kind of put us right into that spectrum here of normality when it comes down to these corrections. Because previously we were experienced the shortest bear market in the history of our markets, simply because they started QE. This time we're probably not going to get that money injection, so we're going to have to ride this out. So for people looking to trade and flip and stuff like that, that can be somewhat of for bad news. But obviously, you'll see that the consolidation here in the market and stuff like that, this is consolidation with the exchanges. You'll see that you'll probably see some shorts or people that are shorting kind of backing off here because of the unstableness that you're seeing in the crypto market, because nobody wants to short on an exchange and the exchange goes under, and then everybody's getting margin called. So that's going to kind of prevent somewhat of the shorts that we would normally see, especially when we get bad news like this. Because if you look at Dogecoin, let's take a look here. If you look at Dogecoin here on the right, you'll see that shorts actually backed out of some of their positions again today. Normally, especially something like hinting at, oh my God, we're getting another indicator that we're going into a recession or that we're already in one. Normally, it would have been shorts off to the races, but not anymore. Yeah, so that those exchanges kind of going under and stuff like that has a lot of short sellers kind of pumping the brakes, because nobody wants to get margin called. But as I mentioned yesterday in one of my shorts, I think this is a great time, a great opportunity to give people the time that they need, because not everybody has a bulk of money This gives everybody that time if you kind of need to dollar cost average in to get the coin counts that you want, and not just in Dogecoin. Ethereum, Bitcoin. Pick your faves and stuff like that. These are great entries for these coins because I do believe after this recovery and we go into the next bull run, I do believe we will not see these prices again for these assets. So these prices that everybody's complaining about now, these will be a thing of the past. So I think that for the people who are long or for the people who believe in their coins for whatever reason, whether it's a crypto gold or an internet currency, whatever your method for investing, I do believe that coin count is going to be the king of the hill compared to, okay, should I try and get some now at 19,000 versus 17,000, or is Doge a buy at 6 or 7 cents compared to 5 cents? Like, will it touch 4 again? Instead of trying to, argue over those pennies and those minute differences, if you are long term, the multiplier you're looking for is going to be coin count because those differences are, especially as these coins appreciate and settle into their purposes, those minor differences in that time frame where you could have had more coins is going to matter less and less. But again, that's just my opinion. That's how I look at things. Speaking of my opinion, I do believe that we've been in a recession for quite some time. We talked about this earlier this year when we were talking about the market being pumped up off of steroids. And with the QE and buying the mortgage-backed securities, and at one time we were getting $130 billion a month and stuff like that. We've been in a recession for quite some time, but the problem is when you inject the economy with money and you start handing out stimulus checks and stuff like that, it doesn't feel like you're in a recession. It feels like everything is well. But when the money dries up, you kind of settle down to that equilibrium. Same thing, kind of like when we see with shorts with Dogecoin, it appreciates to its true equilibrium. That's what's happening with us. We were down here, we got pumped up with the funny money, and now we're just settling back down to where we would have been. And unfortunately, people don't like to retract. Just despite how we got up, nobody likes to retract. And unfortunately, we can't print money forever. Hyperinflation and things like that. But we're going to kind of reach that equilibrium, and then we'll be able to kind of resume from that point, which is normal and which is necessary for a healthy market. So for me and my positions, you guys know my top positions, obviously Doge, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano. With those positions, I'm counting this time, this recession, this downward period, this consolidation, whatever you want to call it, I'm counting it as grace, and I'm using it to beef up my numbers because again, I do believe the next bull run is going to be something spectacular, and I don't want to be looking back saying I had all the time in the world and all I did was cry about prices and stuff like that. I don't do that, but I see that a lot of people are doing that, and I think that that's going to be the sentiment going forward. So if you're long on your coins, be long on your coins. If you're short on your coins, or if you're upset, or if you're trying to flip and you don't care about your coins, or you have no idea and you want to get out, that's your business. But just know that the market that we're in now may consolidate some more. It may take some more time to finally bottom out before we take off. And what we've experienced, what you've experienced over the last couple of years, is not how a normal market works. Those quick flips and those coins running up, or in crypto and stocks and stuff like that, doubling, tripling, stuff like that, that is not a normal market. That's typically not how it goes. And going forward, those bull markets are not a bull market. Don't get me wrong; they do appreciate, but the explosiveness that you've seen, a lot of that was from obviously the retail sector being pumped up, and then you have institutions kind of taking advantage of that to run these coins up so that they can start, I won't say rug pulling, bull traps, and stuff like that. And they made a fortune. But going forward, that is not going to be the case. So pick your positions now, do your analyzing now so that you can be at these low numbers. And when we're running, you have all the options in the world, and you don't have to worry about these exchanges and stuff like that, pumping billions of dollars in there and worrying about, is it at the top yet? Because your DCA is already 300%, behind you, and you're all green anyway. That's what I want for all of you. As always, the biggest thing that you can do to protect your crypto and to make sure that the crypto appreciates to its actual price is to remove it from exchanges. I do recommend the Ledger Nano. I have a link in the description where you can order directly from the company so that you don't have to worry about malware or any of that other BS that's going on right now. And if you want to raise money for crypto, or if you do stocks as well and you don't want your stock exchange lending your crypto to shorts and stuff like that, you do have an option with Moomoo, and you can get up to $2,500 right now by depositing any amount when you open your account. and you'll get 10 free stocks that won't be lent to short sellers. And I have a link for them in the description as well. I hope this video finds you well. I appreciate all of you. Like the video, subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next one.